Okay. All right, so parallel, perpendicular, neither is all about the slopes. All right. So in the first one, it's in standard form. So the slope is opposite of A divided by B. I have moved A over. Remember, A is the coefficient in front of the X. So right now it's a -1. And if I do the opposite of A, it's a +1 over B, which is the coefficient in front of the Y. That's a 1 also. So the slope for the first line is 1. For the second one, it's in slope-intercept form, so you can pull the slope right out. The slope is -1. Question on that? Okay, so we've got a slope of 1 and a slope of -1. Is this parallel, perpendicular, or neither? I heard a neither. I heard a perpendicular. Well, I appreciate y'all throwing out all three. Actually, the first person to say the right answer is Gabby, because remember, 1 and -1 for slopes are the odd ones. Why are they odd? Because technically that's your fraction. And so if you flip it, you still get the same thing and you change the sign. So this is the only pair of slopes that literally it just appears that the sign has been changed. So these are perpendicular. These lines are perpendicular. Okay. Okay, for the second one, it's in slope-intercept form. And again, I just kind of slid the X over, but my slope here is -6. Here we're in standard form. So I need opposite of A divided by, and notice B is already negative, folks. Opposite of A, and then B is already negative. So now I have a -6 and a +6 for my slope. Parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Neither. It's neither. Question? Okie dokie. Does my parabola for this function open up or down? It opens down. The reason why is because the coefficient in front of the x squared term is negative. It's going to open down. What's the y-intercept? 16. We need to factor to find our x-intercepts and solve. And I gave you a hint, pull a -1 out first. By the way, not going to have pulling a -1 out on your exit ticket. It's just, you're just going to go factor it, okay? So, but I wanted to remind y'all that if that leading coefficient's negative, we do want to pull a -1 out, okay? So I'm going to pull a -1 out and set up a parenthesis, okay? And what I do is I divide everything by -1. Some of us already know the only thing that does is change the signs. That's all it does. So instead of -x squared, I've got, yeah, could we just put that up? Instead of a -x squared, I've got a +x squared. Instead of -6x, I've got +6x. And instead of +16, I've got -16. Now we're going to factor what's in the parenthesis. It's a trinomial. We're going to do our 2x2 box. So we've got x squared. We've got -16. When I multiply, it's still -16. What goes in the bottom of the box? 6. And now I need my magic numbers. The magic numbers that multiply to -16 but add or combine to 6. 8 and -2 are the magic numbers. So we've got 8, we need an x on it. We've got -2, we need an x on it. Okay, greatest common factors across each row and down each column. So first row, GCF is x. Second row, it's 2, and we're going to go ahead and pull that minus sign out because it showed up in both of them. Down the first column, it's x. Down the second column, it's 8. So we've got an x minus 2, an x and an 8. When I look back, signs are different, so I'm going to need a plus. We need to make sure we do not stop here. We want to set each one equal to 0 and solve it. So how do I solve this one? Add 2, so one of my x-intercepts is going to be a positive 2. How do I solve this one?
Subtract 8.
Subtract 8, so that's going to leave me with a negative 8. So my x-intercepts are 2 and negative 8. Remember, you don't want to stop here and pull your numbers out. It's actually the opposite of those signs. Okay? All right, axis of symmetry is opposite of B over 2A, so let's come on back up to the top here. We've got A is negative 1, B is negative 6, and just for the record, C is 16. So opposite of B would be a positive 6 divided by 2 blank. Sorry about that. Divided by 2 blank, and I need to put A in the blank, and A is negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, which simplifies to negative 3. So my axis of symmetry is at x equals negative 3, and because that goes through the vertex, that x value is the x coordinate of the vertex. How do I get the y part? Yep, I plug it into the function. So what does it sound like? Negative blank squared minus 6 blank plus 16. So let's write that. Negative blank squared minus 6 blank plus 16. And I'm going to plug my x in. Okay. You can pop this in the calculator exactly the way you see it, but I am going to do it without a calculator just in case on a standardized test there's no calculator. Folks, we are squaring, we don't mess with this negative yet. We are squaring a negative number so it ends up being positive. So negative 3 squared is a 9. Y'all, then that negative outside the parenthesis gets tacked on. Negative 6 times negative 3 is a positive 18. Bring down positive 16. The way I do this is, these two numbers, I know that when I combine them, I get a positive 9. And then I add 16 to it, and I get 25. So my vertex is the ordered pair negative 3, 25. Okay, is this a maximum or a minimum?
Maximum.
It is a maximum. The reason why is my parabola is turned upside down, so we actually have a top to this thing. And what is the maximum value?
The x part of the y.
It's the y. So the maximum value, the highest point on the graph, is 25. And now what we do is we use that information to pick out our graph. Okay, so we know it already turns upside down. So A cannot be the correct answer. We know that the y-intercept is 16. That's no help because the y-intercept is 16 in all three of these. The next piece of help would be our x-intercepts are 2 and negative 8. Our x-intercepts are 2 and negative 8. This is incorrect here because our x-intercepts are 4 and negative 4. This is incorrect here because my x-intercepts are positive 8 and negative 2. The correct answer was C. X-intercepts are negative 8. Did I do that right? Yeah. X-intercepts are negative 8 and positive 2. C was the correct answer. Good? Okay, if you would, pull out your sheets from yesterday. I'm going to give y'all 10 minutes to try. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to try to work out some of these problems. Okay, so let's talk about these. I think what I was telling someone that I was just talking to, y'all, it's all about those formulas over there. So when you've determined that something is arithmetic, your brain should be going right to those formulas. So here's the formula, and I jumped a step and went ahead and put numbers in. Y'all, it says the first row is 15. Well, that's your A sub 1. It says 3 more seats added to each row. Well, that's giving me my common difference. So if you look on the wall over there, I filled in the value of the first term and the common difference. Okay? Then, this extra piece of information says which row. Y'all, N is the row. So we're looking for N. Which row has 51 seats? So y'all, 51 goes on the other side. So what you're trying to do is get to this place right here where all your numbers are in correctly, and you realize I'm solving for N, and you just begin the process of solving a multi-step equation. You distribute your 3, then you combine like terms, and then it's a 2-step equation. So the row number there was 13. The 13th row will have 51 seats. Another way, y'all, if you're like, okay, I've been listening, I don't get it. Y'all, another way would be to just do recursive in your head. So in other words, the first row is 15, and what's happening each time? What are we doing each time? So y'all, if you had to, we're going to add 3. We're going to add 3. We're going to add 3. Add 3. Add 3. Add 3. Add 3. Add 3. Let's hope I'm doing it right while I'm talking. 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. Well, here we are. It says which row has 51 seats. Well, right here is 51 seats. First row, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. That's the long way, but it can be done. I mean, if they ask for the, 80th, if it's something like the 80th row, it would take you forever to do, but, if it's a small number like, this, I mean, you could actually do it the long way if you wanted. Question there? Okay. Number 2 is arithmetic, and again, all I did was plug in what they gave me. So the first term is 4, and if you look at the pattern, your common difference is 3. So here's my equation, and then what are they asking for? The value of the 20th term. So the term number is 20, and we want the value. You can put it in the calculator just like that, or you can simplify it by hand. The value of the 20th term is 61. So again, y'all, if you're like, those equations are messing with me, I can't figure it out with the equations, just continue the pattern. Just continue the pattern. But again, you would need to do this. I mean, you got first term, second term, third term, fourth term. You would have to do 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way to the 20th term to get that value. But, I mean, it can be done that way. I just like using the formula and plugging directly in. It takes 2 seconds to do. Number 3, the answer is 7. It is geometric. So when I go to plug my numbers in, first of all, my pattern is multiplying by 3. So a 3 goes right there. Okay. My initial value is 2, so 2 goes there, and then they say what term number, so see, N is what we're looking for, has a value of 1458. Well, a value goes on the other side. Well, we know with geometric, we cannot solve that by hand. So what we do is we pop that in the calculator under y equals, if everybody wants to do this with me, I'll pause for a minute. I'm just going to put this right-hand side in the calculator. Under y equals, clear out anything that was in there. 2, parentheses 3, close the parenthesis, grab you up a caret key, you gotta open a parenthesis, and instead of n, I'm gonna type in x minus 1. So what I did was put this equation in, and now I'm gonna go to my table, and I'm gonna look for this value. Well, there it is. It's term number 7. Okay. Arithmetic. It's just a straight plug-in, y'all. Just a straight plug-in. First term is 30,000. We're adding 2,000 each year. It's a straight plug-in. How much would their salary be in the 15th year? You just put a 15 right there, pop that deal in your calculator. On the 15th year, their salary would be $58,000. It's just a straight plug-in. All right, geometric, triples, so your R is 3. It's a straight plug-in. 50 insects in the first month, so 50 goes in for A sub 1. How many insects will there be in the 4th month? So you just put a 4 right there. Okay, so what I put in my calculator, just because I know 4 minus 1 is 3, I did 50, parentheses 3, close the parenthesis, and I just raised it to the 3rd power because 4 minus 1 is 3. 1,350 insects in the 4th month. Same thing here, straight plug-in. Recognizing that it's geometric because each bounce is half the previous. That's a geometric exponential model. And then they asked what is the height of it or the distance it travels on the 4th bounce, so I just plug a 4 in right there. And so again, how did I put this in my calculator? I just did 20 parentheses. I actually did 0.5 because I know that's a half, and then a caret key, and I knew 4 minus 1 was 3, so I didn't even bother with the parentheses. 2.5 meters. And the one y'all have all been waiting for, I checked these briefly. I'm pretty certain only one person got it. Correct answer is 252, and that would be Andrew. We do need to do a notable mention for Jonas. Jonas, what I think you did was I think you just miscounted and missed one. So it says the first step is 10, and it says you're adding 2. So y'all, all I did was just 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and if there's 12 steps, I made sure I had 12 numbers. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then when it says total height of all the stairs, I just added them together, and you get 252 centimeters. By the way, adding together a sequence is called a series. And there are formulas for this, and it takes place, I think, in Math 3. So just letting you know, there's actually formulas. These are called series, but you're not going to probably have that in Math 1. And then last one. Again, looks like a straight plug-in. First term is 10. They tell you it's arithmetic, so you're just plugging in the numbers. And then it says find the value of the 24th term. You just plug it straight in and you get 125. All right. We need everything cleared off your desk, and that absolutely includes warm-ups, all that stuff. Might want your calculator and a pencil. Sorry, got to regroup. Looking for the common difference, looking for the common ratio, so the D and the R, what's missing? Y'all, if the D and R are missing, that means you got to fill in with numbers everywhere else. So when it says arithmetic sequence, I mean, you need to put this on a piece of paper. That's what I would do. And what you need to know is you're going to have numbers that fill in for all of the rest of this with the exception of the D. Okay? So let's read what it says. The first term is equal to 10. Okay, we're getting pretty good at that. We know that goes here. We already know we do not have D. Okay, so now what I'm looking for here, y'all, is I need a term number and its value. I need a term number and its value. So now when we read, notice it says the value of the seventh term is 34. Y'all, this right here, y'all, that's your N. That's the term number. So your 7 goes right there because that's your term number. The value is the A always. See, that's 34. And now notice, it's really just a multi-step equation. So you can do 7 minus 1, and y'all, that right there just simplifies to 6D. And you bring down everything else, and then you just solve your 2-step equation. You subtract 10 on both sides, you divide by 6, and you find out that your common difference is 4. So again, I'll say again, you're looking for the common difference. That means they've got to give you all these other numbers. They got to give you all the other numbers. Okay. Okay, this is linear, so we are capable of solving this on our own. It's when we get to geometric that we're not capable of solving the equation in Math 1. So let's do this one. Again, we need to remember what is our formula. A sub n equals A sub 1 r raised to the n minus 1. So y'all, if I am looking for r, then they've got to give me all the other numbers. So the value of the first term is 8. We know where that goes. We know that we're looking for the r, and now we've got to have the term and the value of that term. So if we keep reading, we find out the fifth term has a value of 128. So the value goes on the left-hand side, and then it's term number 5, so I put a 5 minus 1 here. At this point, folks, this is where you're going to have to go to your calculator. You go to y equals. You put the right-hand side under y equals. So 8, and we don't have an r, so we're going to do an x. Caret key, y'all, if you want to do parentheses 5 minus 1, you can, but what could you just put there? A caret key and a 4, because what's 5 minus 1?
4.
And now all we do is go to our table, and y'all, we're looking at 128 here. And there it is. And remember, instead of an r, you used an x. So y'all, that's your r. You're multiplying by 2. There you go. I mean, that's it right there. Okay, and I see you guys are getting on it, so I'm going to go ahead and talk while y'all are doing it, because I got 2 other old things in there. Got 2 other old things in there. Okay, your other 2 old ones is recursive. They only give you one piece of information, the pattern. So in these top two, what are they trying to tell you the pattern is? As opposed to the bottom two.
Add, bottom two or add.
Bottom two are telling you that the pattern is adding 5. That's what the bottom two are telling you. What's the top two telling you?
Multiply.
Yep, the pattern is multiply by 5. And then all you do is use it to find some other term. It gives you your pattern and tells you which term to find. Okay, so we've done this before. Just wanted you to have it.